This presentation will give you important information about creating an MLA works cited page. You must always have a works cited page anytime you use outside sources. For your works cited page, you will need the following source information. You will need to locate the author or author's name, the article name, the title of the container, which could be a book, magazine, journal, website, date of publication, and the page numbers. This is an example of a works cited page that is formatted in MLA style. Yours will look very similar. For each source that you have used, you will create an entry for your works cited. The first thing that will go in your entry is the author of the work. If there is only one author, you will put the author last name first, with a comma, and then the first name, and a period. If there are two authors, you'll put them in alphabetical order, last name, comma, first name, and then you will put the last author with first name first, and then the last name, and a period. If there are three or more authors, you will put the first author in alphabetical order using last name, comma, first name, comma, et al. That means and all. If there is an unknown author or the author is not listed, you will use the first item that shows up in your works cited entry. Usually that will be the title of the article. You will put that in quotation marks with a period. If there is no title of the article, you will put the title of the container or the magazine or journal or book. Mississippi Today is the example with a period. In this slide, you can see a screenshot of an article from the Huffington Post. That's an online magazine. You can see that I have circled the information that you would need for your works cited entry. Just above the picture are the words by Carla Banacus. She is your author, so you would put her last name, a comma, her first name, and then a period. The next thing that you would need is the title of the article. Notice to have an arrow pointed to critically endangered and adorable leopards born at Connecticut Zoo. You would have that in quotation marks with a period. The next thing you would need is the title of the container. It's an online magazine, Huff Post. That would be in italics with a period after. And then lastly, you would need the date, and you can see that the date is circled. For your works cited entry, you would need the date, but you would not need the time. So this is how you would find the information that you need on an online source. Once you have found the information you need for your works cited entry, it's very important that you put that information in MLA style. You need to pay very close attention to punctuation and spacing and the order that the information goes. This is an example for you that is color-coded for how to do a book entry into a works cited. You notice that the author is in purple. In this example, you have two authors. The title of the book is in blue and it is italicized. The publisher of the book can be found on the cover page inside the cover of the book, and the publisher is in yellow and the year of publication is in red. You may also use print periodicals as sources for your essay. Print periodicals are magazines, journals, newspapers, any kind of periodical that is printed monthly or weekly or yearly. You can see in the examples of a print magazine and a print journal that the authors are there in purple for you. The article titles are in green and are surrounded by quotation marks. The title of the periodicals are in blue and are written in italics. The date and volume information are in red. Notice in the second example, the volume information, you will need to format your volume information similarly, if there is such. Page numbers are in yellow. If there's one page, you use a P period. If there are more than one page, two or more, you would use PP period. And you always end the examples or end your works cited entries with a period. You may also find articles for your essay in an online database. Notice in the example provided that you have two authors. They are formatted in MLA style in alphabetical order with the first author being inverted with last name first. There's a period after the authors. The title of the work or article is in green and is surrounded by italics. The title of the periodical is in blue, and you notice that it is in italics. The volume, issue, and date are in red. The page numbers in yellow. The name of the online database is in italics and is in dark green. The DOI or permalink is here in dark blue. If there is no permalink or DOI available, you would just leave this information off. Most of your sources will probably come from the internet. Here is an example of how to correctly cite internet sources in a works cited entry. The author is in purple. Sometimes the author will not be available or will not be seen, so you will leave that information off if that's the case, and you will begin with the title of the work. That's the article or the content page. It will be in green and will be surrounded by quotation marks. The title of the website will be in blue. The publisher or sponsor of the website is usually located in a band at the top. In this example, it is not available, but it would be in yellow. The date of publication or latest update is in red. In this case, there is no date of publication. The location or the URL web address will be or is in pink on this example. If there is no date of publication, you will end your citation with the word accessed, and you will give the date that you found the source. So, for example, accessed the 6th of July, 2015. A few things to think about as you're preparing to create your works cited. You will center the words works cited at the top of the page. You do not need to bold or underline or do any other punctuation to those words. You will use a hanging indent for entries, and you can see that in the example in one of the earlier slides. I'll show you how to do that on the next slide. You'll alphabetize the entries, so you'll put them in alphabetical order by author's last name or whatever comes first in each entry. You'll also double space the works cited entries. For an MLA paper, formatting is very important, so you want to pay very close attention to the guidelines. This is a screenshot of a Microsoft Word screen. If you had your works cited information on the page, you would select all. You would highlight all of your entries and then choose select all. You would go to paragraph. There is a tiny arrow at the bottom of paragraph across the top of the toolbar. You would click that arrow and this box would appear. In order to do a hanging indent, you would go to Special and choose Hanging. You see I've circled that for you. And then you would go to Line Spacing and choose Double. When you've done that, your works cited entries should be formatted in a hanging indent similar to the example you've seen in the earlier slide. Don't forget that the works cited page is required anytime you use outside sources. You must have a works cited page, so you want to be sure that you do that for Essay 3. This is a great resource to help with MLA formatting and really any kind of writing. The OWL at Purdue, this URL will take you straight to the examples of MLA formatting and style. Get to know that website. I use it all the time and it helps me a lot. As always, let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.